What's up, boys? Welcome back to the channel. Here I'm joined with my friend Tyler to bring you 10 tips to make your training as efficient as possible, to squeeze as much milk as possible out of that training. Okay, anyway, let's get to the first tip. So I'm going to be bringing you your first tip, and that's to train closer to failure. Now, I want you to imagine failure as a range from 0 to 10. 0 means you're nowhere near failure, and 10 means you're right at failure. You literally cannot do even another half rep. In order to get the maximum gains possible, you want to be in the failure range of 7 to 10. So that means you're taking your sets basically from 7 to 10. That means 3 reps before you fail up to 0, which is basically failure. So you're going to want to keep most of your sets, if they're not warm-up sets, between that 7 and 10 range. And actually what I just described here is called the RPE system, the rate of perceived exhaustion. If you want to look further into that, you can just look it up, but that's basically the basic breakdown.
Now, training to failure is definitely very important, but you should not train to failure every single time. Research has actually shown that still leaving 2 to 3 reps in the tank is actually just as effective as training to complete failure, but it does not fatigue your body as much to continue to do the same amount of reps in each exercise. The problem with leaving 2 to 3 reps in the tank is that most people are terrible at telling how far they can actually push to failure. Most people honestly just think that they are pretty much at failure when they could probably push in 5 more reps. Training to failure or close to failure is definitely very important, but if you do it on every single set that you do, it can almost be counterproductive.
Tip number 3 is going to be utilizing variety, because if you're doing the same exercises over and over and over and over again for months and months on end, it's just not going to end well. First of all, your body gets used to the exercise, which means it adapts, and thus the muscle that you're going to be gaining from that exercise is actually going to decrease the more and more you use it. And second, the more and more you use that exercise, the more your joints fatigue from it. People can usually feel when an exercise is kind of getting stale. You know, maybe the motions aren't as smooth anymore. Maybe the pumps aren't as good. Maybe you're just not feeling sore as much anymore after you do that certain movement. Like, let's say you've been doing the bench press for 5 months, 3 times a week. Your shoulders are probably going to start clicking, and your elbows are probably going to start feeling rough, and you're probably not going to feel as sore in your chest anymore, or you're probably not going to get as good of pumps. And that means it's probably time to switch that exercise out and swap in a new one, like dumbbell bench press or, I don't know, machine press.
Now, on the other hand, while utilizing variety every now and then is definitely very important, you should not be switching up your workout routine every single week. For the most part, you should honestly be sticking to the same workout routine for a long period of time. You should not be changing it just because you don't feel like you're seeing a lot of progress. You can definitely switch out exercises here and there, but you should not be doing it all the time. It's going to take a long time to achieve your goals, so just be patient and keep working hard.
This next one is actually a pretty big one, and that's to rest adequately between your sets. And that just means rest enough so that when you do your next set, you still hit your target rep range. So let's say, I don't know, you're doing pull-ups and your target rep range is anywhere from 5 to 15 reps. If you did 15 reps your first set, you can rest for 30 seconds and probably bang out another 8 to 10. That's adequate rest. I've kind of an internal checklist for things while I'm resting. So is my main muscle that I'm trying to hit fully rested? Are the synergizer muscles fully rested? Is my cardiovascular system fully rested? You know, am I still breathing heavy? Am I breathing at a normal pace? Do I feel fine? And the fourth one is, am I actually feeling mentally prepared to do another hard set again? So if I'm doing bench press, I love that example, I make sure my chest, my main muscle, is fully rested. I make sure my synergizers are fully rested, so my triceps and my front delts. I make sure I'm not breathing heavy and I'm breathing normally with my cardiovascular, so that's not my limiting factor. And fourth, I make sure I'm ready to lift another heavy set again, because honestly, it is mentally taxing.
You need to give yourself a day off. Look, a lot of people make the mistake of always being in the gym, training 7 days a week, and that's just not good for your body. Studies actually show that your body needs around 48 hours to recover from a workout. You need to be giving yourself at least 1 to 3 rest days in your week.
Tip number 7 is you want to progressively overload with your exercises. What does that mean? That means with every workout, or maybe every week, you increase the weight, the reps, or the sets that you do for an exercise in order to increase the capacity that your muscle is lifting. Let's think about it this way. Have you ever seen any pro bodybuilder bench 95? No, they increased the weight. Maybe when they were in the beginning of their lifting career, they started out with 95, but over time, they increased the weight. Maybe by 5 to 10 pounds every week. Maybe they increased it by a few reps every week. They went from 95 to 115 to 135, so on and so forth. As humans, our body is very good at adapting to the situations we give it. So this means if you're lifting the same weight week to week to week, chances are that you're probably going to plateau there and you're not going to adapt because your body doesn't need to adapt to lift it easier or faster or anything. However, if you were doing 95 pounds the week before and you increase it to 100 pounds the next week for the same reps, your body is forced to adapt because it's a heavier weight than what it's used to and it has to grow muscle.
Another tip I'm going to give you guys is to avoid junk volume. Junk volume refers to doing more sets than you actually need, which are going to become actually counterproductive and waste energy and time. Only doing around 6 sets per muscle group is actually the most effective for muscle growth. Any more sets after that is honestly just going to waste your time and energy. An example of only using 6 sets per muscle group per workout is going to be doing, let's say, 3 sets of 10 for chest flies. Okay, so you're doing chest flies and then doing 3 sets of 10 again, but you're doing like a barbell bench press. So you're doing 2 exercises per muscle group and you're only doing 6 sets.
Tip number 9 is just going to be timing your PRs correctly. I know we all love PRs. I know we all love hitting 1 rep maxes on our bench presses, our squats, our deadlifts, but it's a taxing thing. Maxing out on bench press and squat every week, hell, some people even do it every day, is horrible for the joints and actually does not promote much, if any, muscle growth at all. Going for constant PRs saps you of much needed energy for your other productive sets and isn't actually that useful other than for pride and ego. But does this mean you should never try for 1 rep max PRs? I don't think so. I think you just need to time them properly, doing them at least every few weeks or preferably every few months to just keep that fatigue low and keep your productive sets high so you're actually building muscle that'll contribute to your next PR and not just trying to PR. You know what I mean?
Now the last tip that we're going to give you guys is to leave your ego at the door. Look, obviously everyone wants to lift the heaviest weights in the gym, but everyone has to start somewhere. Those bodybuilders that you see at your gym did not start as bodybuilders. They started skinny or maybe fat. However you are starting right now, just remember you have to reach those goals by working hard. You don't just get to automatically lift heavy weights. By lifting heavier weights than you should be, you're going to cause improper form, injuries, and it's just going to be bad. You're going to look like an idiot because you're not doing the right weights. Just don't do it, please. No one's going to be looking down at you like, oh, that guy's only lifting 10-pound dumbbells. He's so bad. No one cares. Everyone has to start somewhere, and everyone knows that. So just do your job and work hard to achieve your goals. That's all I got for you guys. Make sure you're following these tips so that you can progress as fast as possible in the gym.
Anyway, if you watched this far, thank you so much. And if you like what you see, you want to see more of it, consider subscribing and liking. And go check out my boy Tyler's channel. He puts up some really good videos for beginners on weightlifting. And if you want me to coach you or schedule a call to talk with me one-on-one for anything, my email's down in the description and so is my Instagram. Just DM me or email me and I got you.